All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. How's everyone doing today? If you can hear me, touch your head. If you can hear my voice, touch your nose. If you can hear my voice, touch your ears. If you can hear my voice, clap your thighs. All right, we're ready to begin. How's everybody doing today? Good. It's good to see you all again. This time we're coming to talk to you all about practice-based coaching and documentation. I'm Tiara Fox, and this is Miss Lori Schmidt, and we are your early childhood mentor coaches this school year. So we'll be coming out to your center to support you all if you need guidance or materials, resources. We'll be your people to come and interact with you all. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So this is practice-based coaching training first. And oftentimes you may hear me say PBC, it's just short for it. Make sure my clicker is open. All right, so what's your coaching comfort level? Are you feeling like a 1, like, yeah, I've got this with coaching? 2 is kind of like, I'm not quite sure if I know a lot about coaching and what coaching is. And 3 would be like, I'm nervous about coaching, I would like to do coaching, or just I'm not quite familiar with coaching at all. So what number do you feel like you are? You can put your number in the sky, and then we can see 2, a lot of 2s. This first row, what y'all feeling like 2s? The middle row, y'all feel like 2s? Back row, 2s, 1 and 2s. Okay, all right, great. Thank you. All right, so what do you know about coaching? Can you share your thoughts on what coaching is? I'm not quite sure. Somebody connected.
Christina connected.
Oh, Christina, can you disconnect?
You connected to the.
Is that yours?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, ladies.
I opened up my computer, sorry. I wonder if that's why I kept disconnecting earlier. Alright, now you're disconnected.
Technology, y'all gotta love it. I know it. There we go.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. So share your thoughts on what you think coaching is. I like to be interactive. So this presentation did a little interactive. If you all help me with the presentation, it will help it go through faster. What are y'all thoughts on what coaching is?
Support a person to learn.
Okay, support people, help them develop. Yes, ma'am. Anyone else like to share your thoughts on what coaching is? All right. Share your thoughts on what coaches do. What do you think coaches do when we come out to centers to support?
Help others see their potential.
Yes, ma'am.
Teach.
Teach. Okay.
Technology.
Guidance. All right.
Support.
Support? Yes. All right. So practice-based coaching is a cycle that supporting practitioners like coaches and EDS that we use effective practice that leads to positive outcome for children and families. The coaching component cycles are planning goals and action steps, engaging in focused observation, reflecting and sharing on feedback about teaching practices. So PBC occurs within the context of a collaborative partnership. Each component in the cycle is designed to inform actions taken by a coach or a coachee during the sequential component, or emphasis that expectations and desired outcomes of coaching are regularly reviewed and updated. So this here is our PBC model that we use. So in the middle you see we have effective teaching practices. And then we go out to share goals and planning. Then we have a focused observation. Then we reflect and get feedback. And all of that around that green part is where we have the collaborative partnership. So that's the coachee and the coach building that relationship. All right, so ways we deliver PBC. We have coaching partners. So like the expert would be like the mentor coaches, the EDS. Peer coaching could be like a person who is maybe a lead teacher who's seasoned and a new teacher who's in their first and second year, and the seasoned teacher is coaching the first and second year teacher. You can do self, but we don't really use that much in our program. And then you have delivery method, which could be on-site or you could do virtual. Group coaching can also be in groups, or it could be individual when we do grouping of delivery. So keep in mind everything that we're sharing, because we will be kind of reflecting on it. The practice-based coaching component, there's 6 domains. 1 is preparation, 2 is building that collaborative partnership, 3 is goal setting and action planning, 4 is focused observation, 5 is reflection and feedback, and then 6 is your professional development.
Thank you.
So PD strategies that occur every cycle will be like the goal planning. We'll come in, do an observation, we'll give reflective conversations, supportive feedback, and sometimes even if we need to give constructive feedback, it's just a way to help contribute to the teacher to knowing what we would like to see them do next. All right, so effective teaching practices, we want to be making specific statements of observable and measurable actions and behaviors of education staff that support the child's learning. So when we say observable and measure, we mean we want to make a SMART goal. So we want it to be specific, making the goal clear and specific to what you would like to see in your classroom or your teaching practices. The M will be measurable, define measurable assets. A would be attainable, confirm your goals that are attainable. Relevant, verifying your goals that are relevant to what you're wanting to work on. And then the time base is setting up a time that you would like to see it, or how many times you would like to see this action. All right, so goal planning would be write or review or revise a goal action plan. So this is just an example. I will expand on what children say by modeling complete sentences during back and forth conversations. How do you know you achieved the goal? You have modeled complete sentences at least 3 times consistently for a week during back and forth conversations. So do you see how we turned this goal into a SMART goal? How we have up here that expanding the conversation by modeling and having complete sentences. So the part of the goal of how we know we achieve it is 3 times. And we want to consistently see that for a week. So that's how we would help you make your goals when we're working on your effective teaching practices. All right, so let's practice here. Is it an observable, measurable practice that can be used across activities? Okay, so read a story about emotions. That's a yes or a no. Can this be observable, measurable, and can it be used across activities? What do y'all think? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so read a story about emotions. So this one is actually not an observable, measurable practice, because it's just saying about emotions. It's not specific in what you're wanting to share or learn about emotions or support it in the classroom.
I see, yeah.
Okay, we'll go to that one. Label children's emotions.
That's,
Yeah, it would be an observable and measurable practice. Very good. And the next one, recognize children who are following the rules. Can we observe it? Can we measure it? Can we measure it?
Yeah, I think so, you do.
No, we can't measure that, because it's just
How many
saying
times
that
they do it in
we
the-
wanna recognize children that are following the rules. So maybe we could turn that a goal into saying, we want to, during, transition, this child will clean up during this time, and they will do it consistently the whole week. So you just wanna be more specific in the goal. It would be a good goal, you just need to be specific in what you want it to be. Provide positive descriptive feedback when a child follows the rules. Okay? Yes, that is one. Develop a visual schedule for parents to use with their child. This can be tricky. No?
Couple.
Okay. All right.
Look.
And ask questions that support parent reflection on their child's communication. Yes. Very good. All right. So observation, when we come in to do observation, we schedule that time with you all. And when we come in, we're watching, we're listening, we're recording data, by writing down specifically just what we're looking for in that goal. We're not looking at other things that you're doing in classroom, we're focusing specifically on your goal during that time. Unless it's a safety concern, then we would address it. But other than that, we're focusing on your one goal. This is an example. I will expand on what children say by modeling complete sentences. So again, we have that again. How do you know you achieved the goal when? They have modeled complete sentences at least 3 times in the 5 minutes of playtime with children. So that's pretty good. It's very specific in what you're wanting to meet for your goal. All right, ways we guide teachers in feedback. So we have reflective conversations. We communicate between the coach and the coaching. We support the coach and coachee to think about practice and implementation. Supports the coach and coachee to consider strengths and needs of the coaching and achieving the shared goal. So here's an example that you might hear from a reflective conversation. What did you notice about the children when you used the strategies during conversations rather than when you weren't having a back and forth conversation with a child? Do you see how that makes a teacher reflect on their practices and what they're doing in their classroom? So that could be like some questioning that you may have or share during that feedback session. Supportive feedback, being specific, positive feedback based on the data collected during the observation. Focusing on the coachee's progress toward the shared goal and action plan, and that links to the child's outcome. So during centers today, I saw you model complete sentences 2 times. For example, when Mina said more cake, you responded, you want more delicious cake? So do you see how, given that feedback, that how they gave that supportive feedback to the teacher whenever she did help that child meet their goal and her goal? Constructive feedback is specific constructive feedback. It's recommendations for what to do differently or better towards the goal that you have. And discuss and identify specific strategies to try. So this example would be, I noticed that James was using 1 or 2 word responses when you were playing with the cars. For example, he said car go a few times while you were racing. What could you do to model complete sentences with James? So again, this gives the teacher the opportunity to kind of think about the practices or what could be done differently for the next time. So characteristics of a collaborative partnership. To me, coaching is all about being available. When we come into your classroom, we're not there to monitor you. We're there to help you get to the next level in your teaching practices. So we have shared understandings about your goals. We're gonna help you work on your professional development. We're there to support. We're there to build trust and relationship with you all. It's an opportunity to say, you know, I really need to vent about what's been going on in my classroom. That's an opportunity where sometimes teachers just need to just talk about it, and it's okay, we can work through that. It gives you a choice on what you would like to see or what you would like to work on and improving in your classroom. Communication, being able to be open, being able to give feedback, being able to share, hey, this didn't work, what can I do differently? And then celebrate. Every step that we do, we're gonna celebrate and say, hey, you met that goal, you know, and then we move on, we can pick a new goal. Okay, so here's opportunity to win a little bag. Name 1 PBC competency. Who can name 1 competency from the 6 domains?
Social.
No
emotional.
cheating on your phone.
Social emotional.
Social emotional. Preparation. Yep, that's one of them. Very good. Preparations. And that's actually the first domain. Okay, another one. Name 1 way that we can deliver PBC.
Zoom or
Virtual.
virtual.
And where
And, On site.
On site, there you go. Okay, so one right here and then one at the lake. Okay, very good. So we do PBC, in person and virtual. All right, so coaching agreement. When we do a coaching agreement, sorry, we have some papers we wanna let you all see. So you know what they look like. We just have a few copies if you all would like to see what the coaching agreement looks like. So pretty much a coaching agreement is transparency and understanding, equity, inclusion, advice, discussion, and documents, and it's a shared discussion with the coachee. Our agreement looks different from that. This is the one that we use for Telemine. And in the coaching agreement, it must include coach's responsibility, the coachee's responsibility, and it will include a supervisor or other personnel responsible for you. And it's a communication, data sharing, expectation, signed and agreed by all coaching partners, and it's developed to modify by coaching partners together. So basically, the agreement shares that I'm gonna do my part as a coachee to be respectful, be on time, provide resources for you, modeling, and then for the coachee, it would be the same. You know that everything is being kept confidential. That we would like for you to utilize the materials and resources that are provided, and that when we are scheduling a time together, that we will commit together to that time. And then if something comes up, you're more than welcome to cancel or reschedule. But we just want to keep that communication barrier there to let you know that that is a safe place for you during coaching. Coaching should be a safe thing. All right. And the next one is teaching practices. So Lori's gonna pass around some examples of some teaching practices that we have used to help teachers in their classroom. Just to name a few would be like routines, transitions. Maybe during mealtime, we have a hard time transitioning our kids and we want support. It could be self-taught, parallel taught, you're ready, you're trying to prepare for class. And you wanna learn, how can I build my skills in this area? And I would like for you to come out and help me with just self-taught and parallel taught. It could even be as small as music and movement. How do I get my children on board to being a part of that activity? So all of these are just different indicators. And then there's other slots where you can place the goal that you would like to work on. Typically, when we do coaching is in the classroom, it's not on the playground, because we're given effective teaching practices during that time in the classroom. Does anybody have any questions while we're at this point? At this point, anybody have questions about any of the teaching practices? Okay. All right. So why and when we use a strength and needs assessment, that's in there too. So Ms. Lori's gonna pass around what the strengths and needs assessment. Raise your hand if you have completed one before. If you're familiar with the strengths and needs. Anybody familiar with it? Is everybody familiar with it or no? Nobody's familiar with the strengths and needs, okay. What'd you say, Ashley?
She on there too. What you
Ashley
do there?
shared if you were a return teacher, you have completed it, but maybe you're just not
That's what
familiar
I was
with the
getting ready
form
to
looks
say.
like.
It
Yeah.
sounded familiar,
Right.
but I wasn't quite sure.
We're passing it around, if you all would like to look at it. So the strengths and needs is used to help identify the coach and coachee perspective of individual strengths and needs. And then we also use it as a collectively as a program to see what areas that we should help, support in, or what areas we're strengthening. When do we use the strength and needs assessment? So in the beginning of the school year, you all will receive the forms, and me and Lori will come by and pick them up. And then we will look at them and assess to see who might need area support in certain areas. And then we will reach out to you all and see if you would like to be coached in certain practices. So it'll be in the beginning of the year, beginning of the coaching partnership, and then periodically as we continue to assess your strengths and your needs. Does anybody have any questions about the forms while you're looking at it? No? Okay. All right. So strengths and needs process is a direct observation of practices. It's a self-assessment by the coachee, and it's a goal identification. So based on your strengths and needs, we will use that specific goal, and then we will help support you in meeting that, getting into the next level. All right, one more question. Why do we use strengths and needs assessment?
You might not know what you need help in.
So it helps
You might not be aware,
Right.
you know what I mean?
aware of what your
you
practices
need,
are.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
good. Yep, that's a great answer. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, she can have that to stay. So what comes after the assessment?
Thank you.
So once we receive your strengths and needs assessment, coaches will use the data to guide, to evaluate the needs of teaching staff. It allows coaches to identify areas of strengths and, areas to improve. And coaches and teachers can review and reflect on practices as a goal to get to the next level. And I like to say next level because that's what we want to get you to, the next level. So as shared before, focused observation is when the teacher, when the coach comes in and we monitor during that specific time that you're asking for and your shared goal, and then we're gonna provide feedback. Coaches and coachees will schedule a time together that will fit your best needs. So say it's during transition, you let us know what time during that transition, and we come and support during that time. All right, so this is a coaching to fidelity, which goes along with the strengths and needs, but it's also another way that you will see coaches supporting first and second year teachers in meeting the fidelity. And Lori has some copies to give everyone if you want to have an opportunity to just kind of look over what the physical environment will look like. That is going to be the part one that will be required for everyone to complete. And you will see me and Lori coming out to support you all with those physical environments to fidelity. And it's in no way to tell you that you're doing any practices wrong. It's just for us to say, hey, we noticed maybe you're doing all these things. Is there something we can do to support you to meet your goal to this part of the fidelity? And that's pretty much what it is. It just helps, the first part helps to understand how your physical environment, is there too much open space? Is the block center and the library center beside each other? So it's just those basic, simple things that we're looking at in part one of the physical. All right, coaching should be a safe place. When we come to do coaching, if time permits, and if the availability of staff is there, we will sit down and give a feedback session. That's how we're able to share what we observe. And we want to be able to let you all have the opportunity to kind of say, hey, this is what's been going on this week. This is what I'm working on. And then how we can go on about whether did you meet your goal? Do we need to continue working on the goal? There is no start and stop time to coaching in the cycles. It's all based on what you feel like your practices are. Feedback sessions. So again, we're gonna discuss and review goals, provide feedback. Coaches will make and provide materials prior to visit or next visit. It's a safe place for teachers to share their concerns and needs, and then we will schedule our next meeting. Sometimes if I haven't been able to sit and talk with the coachee, after the observation, I have done like a teams meeting at the end of the day, and we kind of reflect on those practices then. Okay, this is just an example of what a coaching log is. So this is kind of like what we use when we come in and do observations, things, what we see, what we want to share, and next steps. Again, this is another reflection sheet. And then how coaches support in your classroom. So we make resources for you. How many of y'all like, hey, I need some transition things and I don't have time to print off all these things and make to have available for my kids. That's what we do. We come in and help you with that. We model to support in building your skills. So we're not just gonna say, hey, take these transition cards and do them. No, we're gonna show you how we're gonna use them. And then you're gonna be able to model, we're gonna model, and then we're gonna do the observation and say, hey, look at how you did, like, and give that positive feedback. We can support as a third person. Like maybe, today we schedule coaching and it has been a rough morning. I really can't focus on my goal at this time. That's fine. We can step in, help clean tables, help clean after meals, clean the activities. And I mean, we clean. I mean, we're supportive. We're there. And we're your cheerleaders. We're not your supervisors. So we're not there to say, hey, so-and-so isn't following that rule. That's not what we're there for. We're there to focus on your goal and your teaching practices. Now, as shared, if we do see safety concerns, we do want to talk about that together on ways we can improve. So how it will look for this school year. So you'll see us again at pre-service. And then the first couple weeks of school, we'll be out helping teachers set up their classrooms, doing that coaching to fidelity for first and second year teachers. We're hopeful that we'll be having a meeting coming up this school year to give more insight. And strengths and needs assessment will be picked up towards the end of September. Me and Lori will review the strengths and needs together and then see who may want guidance. And then begin coaching around September, October. You want to start as early as possible. So once once you get your kiddos in there, you kind of see how their routine is, then you'll kind of see what kind of teaching practices you would like to work on. We may do recordings to give best practice for teacher reflection. And when we come to centers, if you have available staff, we want to provide that safe place for you. So who can be coached? Center aides, lead teachers, teacher assistants, first and second year teachers if you like, even seasoned teachers. And then share one thing if you would like about what you learned about practice-based coaching, PBC. Anybody want to share? Anything?
Teachers are being supported,
Being supported? Yes.
guided.
And guidance. So yeah, that's pretty much what practice-based is. I know I gave y'all a lot of book stuff, but practice-based coaching is really just collaborative partnership. That's what it is. It's about building relationships with the coachee and the teachers, and then how we can help benefit you to help you get to the next level with your teaching practice. Let's see. So how do y'all feel now? What's your comfort coaching level now? You still at a 1? 1? Better? Better, you said? Okay. For the ones that say 1, why do you feel like a 1? And you can be honest. You can be honest. That's oh, I'm sorry. Anybody at a 3?
That one look like she
Anybody at a
good.
3? Anybody at a 3? Anybody at a 3? No? Everybody at a 1? Feeling a lot better? Okay. Like we said, we're your cheerleaders, not your supervisors. Any questions for us? No? Okay. All right, here's our contact information if you all would like to take a picture of it. Sorry, we forgot our cards today. Oh, sorry, and no exclamation point. Oh, glorious name. Good look, Lori. There you go. Alright. So that's the way to connect with us. And then if you will, please scan the QR code. You do not have to complete it now, but if you would like to receive coaching or you still want more information, you're able to put your name on there and put yes, no, or maybe. And we can get back with you all.
It took me to a Microsoft,
Teams, you have to put your name in, right? Or just say put your name. Oh, y'all email is not attached to Telemon, is it? That's what it is. Hold on.
You can just email us too.
Okay.
Hold on, I can fix it for y'all. Okay, you all should be able to go back on there now and try. While people are waiting, while we're waiting real quick, raise your hand if you're a first or second year teacher this school year. All right, so you will be seeing me and Lori in your classrooms. Even if you're a seasoned teacher, like you taught somewhere else because you're a first, second year teacher for Telemon, we will be supporting you with your fidelity. You do not have to do coaching, but we still be kind of giving feedback. So if you feel like, hey, while I'm getting response from my fidelity, why not just do the coaching while I'm in it? So it's up to you, it's voluntary, we do wanna let you know it is voluntary, but we are more than happy and we're ready to support. All right, thank you, ladies. And I'm gonna let Miss Lori take over, she's doing her part now.
But I don't know which telephone she was because she just showed up and said, I'm here to do that. I thought she was a coach. Cause she said she was giving us feedback about something. But we had never seen her before. I had only seen her. That's the other lady I had even.
All right, I'm gonna make this really quick. I know you guys are eager to be done for today. But we are gonna be going over some documentation, not only why it's important, but how to do it as well. A lot of times, you guys have so much to do between your paperwork and your requirements and all of that. Sometimes documentation gets pushed to the side, so we'll just go over that a little bit today. We are gonna go over ways to collect it, when to collect it, how, and then we're gonna do some examples ourselves. So what is documentation? Documentation in general, it can come in many different ways. This is gonna be the proof that we have that children are meeting those goals. So not always are they gonna meet the goals in the same way, and not always are you gonna record them in the same way. It can come in samples of work, it can be pictures, it can just be those quick little comments that you guys are jotting down. So why do we need documentation? This is what we use, again, to track the skills that the children have. If you are ever unsure of a skill, or if you think that they need more work in that area, this is the way you're gonna do it. You also are never gonna have two kids on the exact same level in your classroom. They're all gonna have different skills. So this is gonna help you implement those extensions for your activities for the kids that may need more or may need less. So when you are documenting, you're gonna wanna think of your assessment goals. And these are the goals that you guys are using with your lesson plans and all of that good stuff. So you wanna make sure that you're keeping those in mind when you are planning your activities in your classrooms. Sometimes you are going to plan an activity simply because you need to see if the kids have met that specific goal, and that'll be the only purpose of that activity, is to make sure that we're meeting those goals. Other times, you're gonna plan activities for a plethora of reasons, but those kids are also gonna still be meeting those goals during the activities. So it's very important to understand what the goals are. When it comes to planning your activities to assess those goals, you're gonna wanna stop and think about, one, what do you wanna learn? So what is the actual objective that you need to see if that child can meet? How do you plan on reporting that data? How are you gonna make sure that that child has done or needs more work in that goal? And then how are you planning on recording and saving the data once you've collected it? So when it comes to collecting data and documentation, these are gonna be your four main ways that you do it in your classroom. The biggest one is gonna be those notes. You're gonna record notes based on what that child, what they did and what you saw. You wanna make sure that you're not inflecting emotions onto the child. Instead of saying, Johnny had so much fun playing with trucks today, you're gonna say, during center time, Johnny played with trucks and this is what he did. When it comes to the matrix, this is gonna be your system of recording observations for multiple children at one time. So when you record them in Smart Teach, you can go in and select multiple children at one time and put in the same goal for all the kids if they all met it. This is gonna be good for your small group activities or your large group activities, stuff like that. And I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. Another way to record it is to do samples of your children's work. So if your child has recently learned how to draw a square and you want to show that they know their shapes and that they can do it, take a picture of their paper where they did it. whether it be in art time or during a planned activity, take a picture of that document and save it in their file. That's gonna be a great way of showing that they can do the steps. You can also show pictures and videos of them physically doing it. And those are close, but they are two separate things. If you're gonna want to record the child doing it, make sure that you have them in there and make sure that it's a quality picture showing what they're doing. You don't want to just show a picture of their back when you can't tell what they're doing. You have to see them that they can meet that goal. For instance, writing their name, take a picture of them as they write their name. That's gonna show them implementing the goal. Now, what do you guys think is gonna be a good time to record these things? What time of day can you get quality documentations?
When the kids is laying down.
Yep. Anybody else have any other times of the day that they want to, a time that you can look at your children and see if they're meeting those skills?
In the morning.
Mhm. So we can do it during not only planned activities, but we can do it during meals. We can do it during free choice, when we're reading books, playing on the playground. We can do it all the time. At every point in the day, those children are meeting some kind of goal. You aren't gonna catch all of them, and that's okay. You don't have to catch every single one. But if you know that your children specifically are a little bit behind on a goal and you wanna work on those skills, that's the time to push those skills. When you're playing on the playground, when you're getting ready for lunch and you have that little wait time, read a book, sing a song, whatever it may be. Now, we do have tools built into our curriculum that we can use to find out if they're meeting those goals. Specifically, we have our Mighty Minutes. Those are gonna include songs, chants, rhymes, games. These are activities that focus on language, literacy, math, science, social studies that you can use during your transition times or your play times. They're really, really good for transitioning, and they're also gonna help you meet those goals. Another good resource we have is our intentional teaching experiences. These are also gonna be games, these are gonna be playful. They focus on physical, emotional, language, literacy, math. These are great for when you do your large group activities, or even if you're out on the playground, these are good for that. You can also do them one-on-one with the kids. If you have one child that just needs a lot of attention this day and he needs something to keep him going, pull out one of these cards, and it's an activity, it's easy, it tells you what to do. All right, so Smart Teach. Now, we have a lot of, have you guys checked out the new training yet? Yeah, okay. It is very, very similar to what we had before. I'm going to pull it up. All right, so when you log into Smart Teach, it looks different than it did in the past. Your main thing is gonna be that over here on the left-hand side, these are all your resources. When you are recording your documentation, you are going to click on Assess, and it will have everything drop down for you. Oh. Well, it's still working on this, but we'll do it quickly. Now, if you want to add documentation, that's going to be right here on your Add Documentation tab. You can view all the documentation. I wish it would load. It's still glitching with the new system, so I can't physically show you what was going on. But you can view all the documentation that you've already put in for each child. If you click on the checkpoints link, can you log into Smart Teach? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am. It's been doing it to me.
Yeah, mine has been that same.
It's hit or miss every now and then. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna switch over to Ashley's computer to show you this.
Or I can just log in my on here to see it. Would you like to do that, so then it's not gonna mess up the thing?
Teacher's journey.
What's messing up for us is because we have to like emulate a teacher to see the things that you see, and that's where it decides to
We
not
be
work.
getting the error message.
Oh, we got it. I just got a big black circle.
Uh-oh. Okay.
And if you do continue to have those problems, if you all will reach out to the support, will you show them where the help area is? And and you can send a,
Up here.
ticket in, and they can
Okay.
support you on that.
They say that it's
I
all
know you all
fixed.
need it, cause I'm pretty sure you all have to turn in documentation at the end of the week, so that will be very helpful.
I got a question. Sometimes on my smart TV, I be getting other daycares information, like the kids' pictures and stuff, and I'm like, they not my,
It
Yeah.
shows her
yeah.
another class,
Yeah, it shows me
a
another.
whole
class.
nother daycare.
Yeah.
Put in a
We may
ticket for
need
that.
to talk to, actually, we may have to talk to, the EDS specialist about that, cause that might be somehow they might have plugged.
At a different partnership site, and so you used to have access to a different classroom. So when it switched you over, it's just an error in the
Okay.
system.
Yeah, 'cause it did
It
that to me
should
too.
work. It's only doing it to teachers that used to have access to a different site.
Okay.
So does somebody need to remove, like, her
No,
off of
it's,
that class?
it's an error in the
Oh,
system
okay.
because they used to be employed at a
I
different,
got you, it won't
a
go away.
different partner.
Oh, wow.
And so when it switched them over, it should work itself out. It's a weird error.
So when you log in and you hit that assess tab, it's gonna show you all the children that you have in your class. It's gonna show you all the different areas of assessment. If you scroll over here. Now, when you get this green little icon right here, that means that that child has, oh, the mouse does not stay in the same place on my computer. But under cognitive, you can see there's that green icon. That means that you've entered the goals for that child and you've entered all the goals and they have a level entered for each one. Where under literacy, where you can see that plus mark, that means that there is nothing in there for that system. So you need to add some documentation for that. That's gonna show you that, hey, I need to plan an activity about literacy to see if my kids are meeting that goal. You can see on the right hand side there is that legend that's going to help you know when you've met all the goals. When it is all the way dark all the way around and it's green, you're good, you've done everything for that. You can click on the individual goals and it will break it down for each level, and when you guys use your book, it matches exactly with the numbers and letters on your books to help you get those goals. What's up?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do we get our numbers up in social studies? I've been trying to figure out how to add documentation for social studies, and I absolutely have.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
So that's gonna be a good question for a coach, where we will sit down and break out the book with you and help you plan those resources. If you wanna do that, shoot us an email and we'll get it scheduled where we can do that.
And yes, that's another way, and you can also use, what Teaching Strategy provides for you. So it should be some type of information that's given to every area of learning. It may not be within that same week, might come up in a couple weeks later. If you wanna look at it as a whole, you can also look on there. And another place that I also use is Pinterest. You can find a lot of activities based on the study that you're doing, to get kind of creative.
Pinterest. Yeah, that's why I got all that
And
stuff.
coaching,
You said a yellow box.
and there's some.
That means that you've got some in there. Hey.
Reiterate, you guys are going to be getting brand new, I just ordered brand new, beautiful curriculum boxes. You already know this? No. Beautiful boxes of materials. It's gonna have all new curriculum things where you guys are gonna actually have a guide that tells you what to do. Infants, you're gonna have your own one. This is like so exciting. Infants will have one.
Thank you.
Toddlers
So
will have
somebody
one.
will start
Infant
asking.
specific.
And this one will be, we're gonna be providing a whole day training for you guys by Teaching Strategy. So you'll get trained in it, you're gonna feel really confident in it, and they're gonna tell you a lot of that stuff like that. And give you more information on how to support kids based on the curriculum. You're gonna have the books to use, so that is to come in October is what we're, projected. So we're projected to get the curriculums, in like beginning of September, but we won't give them out until we train you guys in your, yeah.
No space.
All right.
I just organized.
And then, over here, if you look on the left-hand side where it has the add documentation tab, this is what I was talking about when I said you can add it for multiple children at a time. Right here, you are gonna drag and drop whatever it is. If it's a picture of the kids doing it, if it's a picture of, the picture that they drew showing that they can meet that skill, you can add that in. For your large and small groups, this is helpful. You can go over and check every single child that participated in that activity. This is gonna help you get a lot of kids in at one time. You'll be able to go over here under your objectives and dimensions, and you can check that box. If it's meeting multiple goals at one time, check both of those goals. It's gonna help you keep up that way. You'll save it. I'm not gonna save it and mess up this classroom stuff. But you can also go under your view documentation tab, and this is gonna show what you've put in. So you can see here, this particular teacher, she does good with her documentations. Here on this first row, she's got a picture, she's got a video, and then she's got a back and forth conversation that happened between the child and the teacher. That is great. That is what we wanna see. We wanna see those conversations recorded. And then you can go down to your checkpoints, and this is gonna show you when those children have their documentation in and when it's been submitted and all that good stuff. This teacher's on it, she's already done everything. If they have not had anything like fully completed, you'll be able to see here who needs it. It's a good way to keep track of things. All right, so we will go back into our presentation. If there's anything you guys need more detail on for this kind of training, let us know. We will gladly come help sit down one-on-one. But like Ms. Savannah said, you guys are all gonna get this information when the new stuff launches. Now, to take a minute to talk about what we want to include in our documentations. We wanna make sure that we're putting when and where it happened. That means we wanna say during free choice, during circle time, on the playground, whether it was during meals. We want to make a note of who was involved in the documentation. Was it multiple children? Was it one child? Was it a child and their teacher having a conversation? And then we want to make sure that we are documenting what is happening. We want to make sure it is clear what goals those children are meeting. And if a conversation did happen, we want to record that conversation like you saw in that teacher's documentation previously. Now here are just some examples of how you want to word your documentation. For example, for math, we are going to put during choice time, Sarah sorted counting bears by placing all the red bears in a red bowl, yellow bears in a yellow bowl, and green bears in a green bowl. We're showing how she met her goal. We're showing where she was and what she was doing when it happened. Same for if you look at science, it has another breakdown of a conversation. The teacher said, "Tell me about what you see." Alex replied, "Big," and the teachers used their hands and said, "Big like this." That's showing how we are building on what the children are saying, and we are building on the goals that they need. Now we're gonna do some documentation together. I have a couple examples up here. I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes to talk with each other about what you see, and then I wanna see some examples. I want you guys to tell me. It's in my book bag. Will you go grab it? Yeah. So Ms. Tara is gonna give you a list of the domains for the early childhood kids that you can use for this documentation, so you can look and see what goal they're using, and that'll help you with your wording. But let's look at this picture. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to talk, and then you guys will let me know what you would put for this activity.
It's cold in here. I don't know. You would have to ask Miss Bale. Yeah, 'cause all of those courses are supposed to equal to.
y'all may be familiar with these pictures already. We did it last time.
So, okay, I'm not sure.
All right, what, do I have anybody who wants to tell me what they would put for this documentation?
Let's see.
Can we get one more?
We can share this. See, we could have shared. Jenny Purd.
Does anybody want to give it a go? So if I was writing a documentation based off of this picture, I would probably say during free choice time, Johnny he demonstrated gross motor skills by stacking the circles. You wanna make sure that you're noting, then when I go in and record it, I'm gonna go in and record that he met the goal of gross motor manipulative skills. We wanna make it clear that that's the goal that they're meeting. Now, take a look at this picture. I want you guys to look at it, and then I do want one of you guys to give me an example. I'll give you a couple minutes to discuss between each other.
He's looking at one book. It is one book.
Ashley Malik.
No, she didn't give names. She gave them all names. She did. I didn't tell her. Cooperatively. Enters into group settings cooperatively. Ain't that what it is?
It looked like the one in the back trying to snatch the book up. He trying to-
Oh, excuse me, I put that on the level. Excuse me, I went to levels, my bad.
being
Does
selfish.
anybody want to share what they would say for this documentation?
Comprehensive responsible.
That is it. Number 3, social emotional participates cooperatively and constructively in group situations.
Now this one is going to be an example of how multiple children are meeting one goal. It's also meeting multiple goals. If you look on here, under literacy, we are interacting and reading experiences. We are showing curiosity. This is a perfect example of where you can meet multiple goals with multiple children.
Uses and appreciates books and other texts.
Yeah. Yep, that's perfect. All right, what do you guys think about this one? When you're thinking about it, keep in mind the formula that we learned earlier. Think about how you would word it to make sure that you're meeting the who, the what, and the where.
During Johnny was digging.
He's looking for,
You don't know what he's looking for. I can't tell. What my glasses? I can't tell what he got. Let me see. What's in his other hand? Okay, nothing in his other hand. He's got a shovel. He is digging in the dirt. That's all we can see from this picture.
Now,
What he's doing.
okay, so let's think about what we learn about and say in the classroom you're learning about rocks this week. Use that as a good indicator.
he could be looking for some rocks. He would.
You don't know what he's looking for.
But, okay, so you just talked about
Science and
rocks.
technology.
So if this was me, I would sit down with little Johnny and I would ask him about the rocks.
Well, yeah,
What are
would
you
have to be
looking
having
for?
a conversation like, what are you digging for?
Exactly, and then that's gonna meet your goal of, what number is it? Connecting experiences. You're bringing those rocks that you learned about earlier into his real life and you're looking at them.
Which, his domain.
Cognitive.
I would also ask them how the dirt felt and the rocks felt, because it would demonstrates knowledge of physical properties of objects and materials.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do one more and then we'll move on. But I want somebody else to answer this one. I know y'all got it.
We be talking, I told you, we gotta be quiet. It's okay.
I miss my wood, my little home, miss my baby.
All right, ladies, what do you think that the documentation for this picture could be? I'll pick a random person.
I didn't even look at the picture.
That's okay. I'm just waiting for somebody to make eye contact with me.
Not even looking, not even paying attention.
7A can be one of them.
How would you word it though? If you were recording this documentation, how would you word that?
Johnny showed use with his hands by putting together the train set.
Perfect. That's exactly right. It doesn't have to be complicated. That is short, it's sweet, it shows how he's meeting that goal. She said that, do you want to say it again louder?
Johnny showed, fine motor skills while putting together the train. Something like that.
All right. Perfect. Now, as the school year goes on, especially for the newer teachers, you guys are gonna get more comfortable putting more detailed documentation in there. But in the meantime, here is our information. If you need help or you want to build on the way you're documenting, let us know. We will gladly come help you out. Does anybody have any questions? Nope. All right, I'm gonna pass it back over to Ms. Candace.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Also, ladies, in your paperwork from Ms. Candace, there is contact information for myself and for Ms. Tiara. So please reach out. You can text us, you can email us, whatever's comfortable for you.